Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Cheyenne Caspary, and I am going to talk to you guys a little bit about the difference of over the muscle implants and under the muscle implants. I had a viral post that visually showed comparisons of what under the muscle looks like versus over the muscle. I had over the muscle implants for 15 years, and I just had a revision done in February by Dr. Hochstein in Miami, and I went from over the muscle to under the muscle implants. So I want to talk about the differences from my personal experience. This is not medical advice. I'm not an expert. I'm just sharing my personal story with it. So I had over the muscle for the first 15 years, and I had 2 surgeries, both over the muscle. And one of the main differences right off the bat from over the muscle is that when you come out of surgery and you get your bandages off, your implants immediately look nice. Like they look round, they have shape to them, they're perky, they're full, and it's a very exciting initial experience to get your bandages off and see the result. So that is over the muscle. Under the muscle, when you first get them, I think because it's so much more work that has to be done to go under the muscle, there's a lot more swelling, that when you get under the muscle implants, when you get your bandages off, and for the first, I would say 4 to 6 weeks after surgery, you don't really have a nice shape to them. They look different for everyone. My personal experience was when I first got my revision done and I did under the muscle, I felt like I had a uniboob. I felt like my chest was completely flat. I didn't have cleavage. You couldn't really see anything, and you kind of have that Frankenstein look, and you're in that panic of, what did I just do? Because it doesn't even look like I have boobs. So that was a big difference, and that's a very common thing that I get in my DMs from women, is them panicking when they go under the muscle, because it does not really reveal its shape for the first 4 weeks. So my surgeon told me that you don't get your final results for 4 to 6 months after your surgery. So I think that that's an important thing to keep in mind, so that you're not panicking, is to go into it knowing that if you're going under the muscle, it's going to be a little bit worrisome for the first month, and just to not look at them too much, trust your surgeon, trust your body and its healing process, and that after 4 to 6 weeks, they'll start to take shape, and every single day they just continue to get better from there. So that was my first difference. Second difference is the way they, structurally feel in your body. When you go over the muscle, it does not feel like there's any support at all around your implants. So what I mean by that is it feels like you have a heavy ball just floating around in your skin. They don't feel like they're going to stay in place. And so that was something that I didn't realize added a lot of anxiety to my day-to-day, because when I was at the gym, when I was working, if I was at the beach or the lake, anything like that, I was constantly having to check to make sure that my implants were staying basically secure in my bra, my bikini, or my top, because they just kind of felt like they were free floating. I have a video that I'm gonna try to find on here, and it does show me walking, and you can just see them bouncing all over. And it's not a normal cute jiggle that girls want. It's a concerning, one's going this way, one's going down, one's going up, one's going left, one's going right. It's not comfortable, and it does take up a lot of your mental capacity, constantly having to look down and check and then make sure that everything is as it should be. So that's over the muscle. Under the muscle, since I've had these done with Dr. Hochstein, I have never once had to check to see if they are staying in my shirt, in my sports bra at the gym. I can do any movement at the gym, and I am confident that they are not going to bust out, which is wild how much now thoughts I can have that aren't centered around my implants or my nips staying where they should be. The other thing is these do not feel heavy. They don't feel like they're stretching my skin. I don't feel any pain whatsoever with mine under the muscle. When I had them over the muscle, like I said, it felt like you could feel your skin stretching. I constantly felt like my skin was holding up these really heavy implants, balls, whatever you want to say. So I would have to wear usually 1 or 2 bras, and I would always size down, even though I probably should have used a bigger sports bra and or bra. I would size down and I would double up, and I would literally like pick them up, put my bra on, put another bra on, and make sure that they were like locked back and up. And that was also uncomfortable because it's so much like pressure on your back because you're wearing such a tight sports bra. So say I normally should have worn maybe a medium-sized sports bra. I was wearing a small or an extra small, and 2 of them high support to make sure that like they were not going to go anywhere and to make sure that it wasn't any added stress on my skin. So on top of the muscle, wildly uncomfortable, painful. Under the muscle, have experienced no pain, no discomfort, no thought or concern that they are going to come out. The other side, which I did touch on my last video, was that my nipples were very sensitive with my over the muscle implants. I had to take 2 showers a day in warm water to just kind of soothe them because they were constantly, I think, being stimulated from the implant on the inside because there wasn't enough separating it. So my nipples literally were on my mind all the time in the worst way possible. Since I've had my revision and gone under the muscle, I have not had any type of nipple sensitivity or pain whatsoever. So that again has given me so much like mental peace and capacity back to not be constantly concerned about the pain I was in. Other difference with over the muscle versus under the muscle, which I do show on my photos on here, is that you could completely see my implants and you can see the rippling when they were on top of the muscle. So when I initially got them done, I immediately could feel, well, it was the implant, but I felt bumps and lumps all over when I would be like taking a shower. I'd be like, oh my God, I can feel like all these bumps. And so I went to the doctor and I got an ultrasound thinking something was wrong. And it was really just my implants that were so close to the skin that I could feel them anytime. So you could literally poke and you could feel the implant and the rippling, kind of like you're poking like a water balloon and it's like moving around. So that was really frustrating, as well as not really good for the self-esteem when you can see it. And it wasn't even that I was concerned that people knew I had implants, but when you can visibly see like all of the ripples and the implant under your skin, it's not a really confident feeling. So that was over the muscle. Under the muscle, you can't see it all. They feel way more natural than the over the muscle. The over muscle, you could literally grab, feel this is an implant. Under the muscle, it feels like a boob. It feels natural, and it obviously looks a lot more natural than being able to see a round, ripply implant. So I did talk about them sagging with over the muscle and getting capsular contracture. The other thing that I've had a lot of women also commenting on is that there's drop and go out to the side. And so that was, again, something that I didn't really even know was not supposed to happen because that was all I knew. So mine, it was very much like you could see all my chest bones and my implants sat on their own out here. And I wanted this look, which is the upper pole fullness with like an inch cleavage. And I was just told from my previous surgeons who did over the muscle that that was my body, that I would never be able to have the upper pole fullness and the cleavage that I wanted, and that it was kind of just like, it is what it is. This is what your body is going to do with implants. So when I got my revision done with Dr. Hochstein and he told me that he could give me that look, I was super stoked. I got it, had no idea I could ever have it. And so that was under the muscle, but more importantly, I think it was under the muscle with the right surgeon who could deliver that result that I wanted. The other thing was that when I did do over the muscle, I was asking for cleavage. I wanted cleavage. I wanted up here to be full. And they put high profile and ultra high profile, which to me, in my mind, I thought high profile was like this, right? High profile. So I'm like, perfect, that's cleavage. But high profile actually means like they stick out. And so because they stuck out so far, I always am hunched over. I always was hunched over with my over the muscle because I am 5'9", I'm tall, and I constantly felt like if I stood straight up and had good posture, that I was either flaunting them in people's faces or I was gonna poke someone's eye out. So I kind of naturally always like kept myself hunched over so that I could. Dr. Hochstein, when I got these done, I was so excited because I was able to have the cleavage, have the upper pull fullness while having moderate profile, meaning they are like lower from the side. So from the side, when you're looking at me, they're not protruding and sticking out of my body. They look natural, but I still have that cleavage and fullness that I desire. So those are the main differences that I personally experienced with my over the muscle implants versus my under the muscle. Again, I'm not a medical expert. I'm just giving you guys my personal experience with both. I think that finding the right surgeon for your specific goals and your specific body type is the best way to go. Do multiple consultations, really trust your gut, and really just take your time in making your decision because it's not worth rushing. Take it from someone who rushed. There's always time to make the right decision, and it's a lot less money and stress and headache if you just take the time to do your research and not rush.